Hey there, squad. Welcome back. If you're like me, you just got back into World of Warcraft after hearing about the new expansion coming, and you're a little lost. At first, at least I was, and I definitely made a lot of mistakes on my way to catching up. Now I'm 470 item level for both my Holy and my Retribution set, so learn from these mistakes, and I kind of just want to share them with you. We're going to do a quick overview with everything there is to catch up on BFA, and I will say it is definitely one of the harder expansions when it comes to catching up, whether you're a brand new level 120 or you've been playing the game for a while, or you're playing it all. It's really hard and difficult to catch up. It's definitely hard if you don't do the research beforehand and just kind of learn from other people's mistakes like my own. So we're gonna get into this video and just kind of go through everything like Azerite traits to corruption and all of that good jazz, and just kind of show you how to do it without making mistakes. Of course, I don't know your class and your spec, and if I talked about every class and spec and what they should do, this video would take forever. So you're gonna hear a common theme: research. And I'll try and tell you what to look for and do the best that I can so that you can go out and find what you need to find so that you can make those good choices. Let's get to it. If you're just starting with a brand new level 120 tune, whether you used the level boost or leveled up on your own, you will have to do the Nazjar questline. If you did level up on your own, you may be a little undergeared for this content. I recommend doing some of the time walking events that are going on right now, and you'll get some time warped badges that you can then turn in to get some more gear. And it's pretty easy. There's a quest available to get, I think it's like 500 time warped badges, and you can just turn those in for the gear. And fortunately, you have to do this before you can get into the heart of Azeroth, but it's a pretty quick quest line to get through. You'll just want to progress through that quest line until you get to New Home, and you should know that you're at New Home because Magni Bronzebeard will show up and he'll even tell you, come to the heart of Azeroth. Alright, you've done it. You're in the Chamber of Heart. Now comes the hard part. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that it's really hard, but it's just a really long quest line, but it's a very important quest line because this quest line is going to give us the cloak. And this cloak plays a huge role in not just the mechanics of the game right now, but also in the mechanics of trying to catch up to other players. It's a huge part of gearing up right now because we're going to take that cloak, we're going to level it up, which is going to give us more corruption resistance. We're going to add further corruption resistance, which is just going to help us gear up our characters and catch up that much faster. Now, I will say this questline can get boring, especially if you just want to start getting geared. I don't think the questline is so much as boring as it is you want to get geared, and this is kind of just something that's in the way. Just persevere, get through it. The faster you get this cloak, the faster you can start doing the day in day out type of quests that it's going to take so that you can catch up as soon as possible. So yeah, get through it, get that cloak, and if you do run into any trouble, I'm not going to go through the quest line right now because it's just, there's so much out there already. If you do run into any trouble, just Google it. There's so many resources, including Wowhead, to figure out exactly what you should be doing. Alright, so once you actually get your cloak, you've done the whole quest line, everything pretty much opens up for you. So let's just do a quick overview of the whole system that is in place. Alright, I'm going to start off by actually opening up the map. And if we look at the map right now, you can see this little icon down here. This is where one of the invasions is going on, and if you look, you can tell which one's the main invasion because the raid will actually be there, the Nyalotha raid. And wherever the main invasion is going on, that will offer you, if you go to this area, you'll see a little progression bar, and it's gonna just, once you complete the progression bar by doing the dailies that are in that area and just going around killing things and doing whatever you need for the quests and stuff, you should be able to fill that up. You kill a boss, you turn it in, and you get a, you know, once a week you'll get a pretty good sized chest that we're going to be using. It'll have a lot of stuff in it as far as currency, and we'll need a lot of that currency to do some of the other stuff in here. If you look, you'll also see this little icon, and that little icon is when you're wherever the main invasion is going on, there's a place to do like a, I guess you could call it a mini horrific vision, and that's going to give you another good sized chunk of what we call coalescing visions. It's another one of the currencies, one of the main currencies that we're going to be using to help us catch up. The other place, why did you go there? The other place is in Pandaria. You can see it's got the little eye, there's the assault. So in the Veil of Eternal Blossoms, it's going to also have an area. This place is going to change twice a week, so it'll change at the actual, you know, daily or the weekly reset, and then it's going to change again on Friday. So it'll be one assault for half the week and different assault for the other half of the week. Both assaults is going to give us the same progress bar where we complete it, we kill a boss, and we'll get another chest. It won't be as big of a chunk as far as all the currency goes, but between the two, they add up, and they're really good. So both of these places also have dailies, and though they're giving you much less coalescing visions than the actual, you know, loot does from the boxes, I really highly recommend that you do them daily, because they definitely add up. If you have handy notes, this is a really good type of handy notes to go out and get as well, or tom-toms or whatever you use. Get something for the invasions, because you can see here it tells you where all the rares are. Sometimes you're going to have quests that tell you to kill 3 rares. It tells you where the chests are. That's another thing that you'll see sometimes is, you know, go around and find 3 chests. That can be really difficult, really annoying, and time waste if you don't know where the chests are. So really good add-on to have there. Like I said, you're going to get that piece. That's going to get you a bunch of currency, mostly like we were talking about, the coalescing visions. You come here to Wrathion and you ask him what he's selling. You'll see Vessel of Horrific Visions, and if you haven't upgraded your cloak, he's also going to have a quest here, so you'll want to pick up the quest, and every time you complete the quest, he'll have a new quest for you. You want to do that until your cloak's level 15, and what they're going to require you to do is actually pick up one of these you know, Vessels of Horrific Visions. That'll allow you to come over here to this little gateway. You click on it and you say you want to enter, and it'll, if you have enough, obviously I don't have the item, it'll queue you in. When it comes to the horrific visions themselves, you're going to get another currency called Corrupted Mementos, and those are going to be really important for over here. You're going to want to go down this tree all the way down to the very bottom as fast as you can, and if you look through this tree, you're going to have to do this one first, and then you'll have this set. And if you look at it, you stick to kind of like the left side, it's more solo based. So these items, you know, especially this one, you can see I still haven't even gotten it. In a horrific vision, the first revival you perform on the ally costs no sanity. That's if you're playing with people. I highly recommend you don't do these with people unless you know them and trust them. This is not something you want to be pugging. You have a good guild and somebody who's willing to help you out, that's a different story, especially if you guys are on Discord and able to talk. But pugging this, definitely don't do it. Go ahead and solo, just don't expect yourself to get very far. If you haven't been doing this at all, you're a new returning player, this is also going to be new to you. This is the actual, what do they call it, the heart forge for your neck. So these are the essences. We're going to go over that a little bit, all the essences, how to unlock that, and how to make some good decisions there. The other option is, the other thing, it's not an option, the other thing that we have available to us is going here to make some purchases. You'll see You have the chance to get Vessels of Horrific Visions here as well. It's not something I would spend them on. There's a lot more important items here. Once you do get your cloak upgraded, they'll also sell Malefic Cores, which you can use to further upgrade your cloak, and that's going to be very important. And the other big thing here is she's going to be selling a bunch of corruption items. Basically, you put this on one of your items, it gives you a corruption, and if you know the right corruptions that you're going for, the other thing that she sells is all these different essences. This isn't going to be a big deal unless you're watching this video for an alt. If you are watching this video for an alt, you can go through here and buy a bunch of the essences, so you don't have to go back and do all the work to get the essences on another character. And if you're a returning player, may or may not know about the Azurite traits that come from your gear as well. Alright, so one of the first things that we're going to talk about is Azurite gear, the traits that come from Azurite gear, and your next essences. I think concentrating on these two things, or I shouldn't even say concentrating, just making sure that they're your first priority. That's going to give you the biggest impact as far as actually catching up and seeing some actual progress on your character. I'll go over why in a little bit, but the main reason why we want to focus on this is it's going to take the least amount of time to get what you need, and you're going to see the biggest impact. For me, I'm playing a Holy Pally right now, and every character and every spec that they're playing is going to be a little bit different as far as what they require. For a Holy Pally, I can tell you right now that every guide you read is going to tell you to have 3 Glimmer of Light. If you look here, I've got Glimmer of Light 1, Glimmer of Light 2, Glimmer of Light 3. Having 2 Glimmer of Lights makes the Glimmer of Light play style not nearly as useful. Having 1 is definitely a horrible idea to try and play with this play style. When you're going out, do some research, look what your class and your spec needs. Just make sure that you understand if you only have 1 of the pieces and it tells you to have 3, don't try and play that play style. You're just going to be wasting your time. You also want to check out where these Azurite pieces are going to drop. So they may tell you what best in slot is. I don't think you need to concentrate on best in slot when you're just talking about catching up. What you really want to focus on is just getting some pieces that have what you need, or as close to what you need, so that you can start catching up as fast as possible. Where can I get helmets that are going to have what I need? Where can I get shoulder pieces that are going to have what I need? And then kind of just making a list. Okay, these are the items that I need. They're going to drop from these dungeons, and looking for mythic pluses, raid content, whatever you're doing to find that. The other thing is the essences themselves. These can take a little bit longer, especially when we're talking about ranking them all the way up to 3. You can see here I've got a rank 1 Conflict and Strife, rank 2 turns blue, rank 3 turns purple, and a rank 4 turns orange. We're not worried about rank 4, and the reason why is because if you look at all these ranks, they tell you that where to go for the next rank, and all of my rank 3s, they all say the same thing. Rank 4 is just gains an enhanced appearance, we don't care about that. But if we look at rank 2 and rank 1, it does tell you that it changes the major and the minor power for those. So we definitely want to try and get these up to rank 3. But even just getting rank 1, if you're catching up, is going to be a huge help. You want to, again, go out, find a guide that you like. Wowhead's a really good site, and just see, for your class and your spec, what are some of the best essences. Again, make sure that you're looking out for any words that hint that there's a play style that requires a certain cap. Some essences may not be as good if you don't have all the Azurite traits, or if you don't have a certain stat cap, because you want to be playing the best you can with the gear that you can get right now. And before you have those certain stat caps, you might have to go out and get some essences for the way that you want to be able to play then. But at the same time, you don't want to be focusing on the essences for the way you want to play eventually. You don't want to just ignore them until you get them, so it may take a lot of work there. but the best thing you can do is just kind of do that research so you have that game plan going into it. Now we're ready to start talking about corruption. And even though I put, essences and azurite here as your first and second priority, I want to say that the main reason that I did that was just because as you're getting your azurite trades, you're also getting upgraded item level gear, which is going to just make a huge impact. You're getting better azurite trades and you're getting higher item level gear. You're going to see a huge impact there. That doesn't mean you don't want to be focusing on all the corruption stuff. You want to start getting that done as fast as possible. You got your cloak, so you probably already know this, but your cloak's going to start at rank 1. You see here mine's rank 15. As it progresses, you're going to get higher and higher corruption resistance. You're going to be able to do more things with your cloak. It's going to change appearances a couple of times. Really neat stuff, but it's going to take a lot of work. So how do we do that? Well, we kind of went over it earlier. Doing the different assaults, invasions, whatever you call them, going through, doing the dailies, doing this little preventative measure, whatever they call that, vision of Enzoth, doing all that stuff is going to get you more and more coalescing visions. Going through, finding treasure chests, stuff like that, it's awesome, but it's not a great way to farm all this. So just go through, do the dailies, do the weekly chests for the main invasion, do the 2 different chests for the Tuesday chest and the Friday chest for the mini invasion. Then come over here, make sure you buy a couple of these. See, it takes 10,000 coalescing visions to be able to buy one vessel, and so I think you can get like 30 or 40,000 a week or so. So you should be able to do this 3 to 4 times every week. He's also going to have a quest. I don't have that up right now. I could jump on one of my other tunes, but it doesn't seem important. You should be able to click on the quest, accept it, and see what you have to do. When you go into the actual horrific visions themselves, you're going to see, if you open up your map, it'll tell you exactly where you need to go. It'll show you where the main boss is, and it'll show you where the pretty much the minor and major areas are. And each different area is going to be a little bit harder. It's going to take a little bit more from your sanity, so it's going to take chunks out of your sanity basically faster and faster and faster. The mobs in that area are going to be a lot harder. Go through, find some guides, especially if you can find a guide that shows your class going through one of the horrific visions. There's only 2. There's Stormwind and there's Orgrimmar. You want to go through those 2, find a guide for them, and they'll kind of tell you how to play. There's certain enemies that are really good to make sure you stun or bubble through or whatever your spec and class can do. Go through, get some food for you, whatever kind of food is good for your class and spec. There's kebabs that are available. Kebabs will give you 100 more sanity if you remain seated for 10 seconds. Use your flasks. There's some pots. I don't normally go for the pots. For your first run especially, don't expect to get very far at all. Get as far as you can. Collect these corrupted mementos. You can also collect corrupted mementos, I think 200 for each of the lieutenants, and I think there's 2 or 3 lieutenants in the Nyalotha raid every week. Now you can only do this for 1 raid, so if you go through and you do a mythic Nyalotha, you can't then go do a heroic and a normal and expect to get to 200, but you can get a few hundred from going through the Nyalotha raid and just doing the mini bosses. You really want to focus on just kind of going through the left side of this so that you're getting down here to Gift of Titans as fast as possible. The faster you get there, like I said, getting Elite Extermination is going to help you out a lot. Your main thing is just to go through and try and do whatever the quest says. It should be times where even if you don't have help, quest 1 tells you to go kill the main boss. You should be able to get to the main boss on the first or second try, and just kind of progress with the quest. Once you get your cloak to rank 15, that's when you can go back in. You do these still. You're gonna get more. You're gonna have for one, you're gonna have a chance at gear dropping. It's not the best way to get gear upgraded, honestly, because it's going to come with corruptions, but it's really hard to find whether you're doing mythic pluses or you're doing raids or anything like that. It's really hard to find corruption gear that comes on the weapon that is actually, or on the item that you want, that is actually useful for your class. Those two things usually just never happens, but you can get gear here, and if you're lucky you might find an upgrade that has a corruption that you actually need. But even just as you're catching up, it's awesome to find another way to get gear. So if you beat the main boss, that's how you get gear. You have to beat the main boss, whether it's in Orgrimmar or whether it's in Stormwind. Once you get more geared up though, you'll also be collecting more and more corrupted mementos throughout. You know, the farther you get, the more corrupted mementos you get, the more research you do, the farther you're getting in these. The other big thing is you also get the Echoes of Nyalotha. Again, you can get this currency from all sorts of ways. Horrific visions, mythic pluses give it all sorts of ways to get this, but it still is a finite currency. It's not easy to just get a whole bunch that, you know, at least in the standpoint of while you're trying to catch up, it's not easy to get so many that you're just not thinking about it, because there's so much to do. Once you get to rank 15, you can be using malefic cores. These items are very important. You're going to want to go out and do some research. So if you do horrific vision vendor calendar or mother corruption vendor calendar, something like that, you'll find out that she sells these 6 for a half a week. These 6 are going to reset on the weekly reset, and then I believe they reset again on Friday. So they're going to reset twice a week, and it can be a month until you find the actual corruption that you need for your class and spec. For Holy Pally, as an example, it comes about once a month. I remember right, it's once a month is rotation for all your corruptions. If you look at that calendar, you'll know when you're going to get to that point. So say that my first goal is to get 5 of the ineffable truths that I need for my Holy Pally. I have a month to get them. They sell for 3,300 Nyalothas, so you know I need 16,000 something in order to get all the ineffable truths that I need. Well, if I know that, I do that kind of planning, then anything over that 16,000, maybe if I get 18,000, I want to spend some of it on my malefic cores. Malefic cores can be used to, again, increase the corruption resistance of your cloak by 3. And this is where it's going to also take some planning, depending on what corruption you need, how much corruption that gives you, and where your cloak's at. So the best bet for me, like I used the number 5 ineffable truths. That's how much I could do for the first round before I would really need to seriously start upgrading my cloak again. So I got the 5, and now my focus has been using it on upgrading the malefic, getting the malefic cores to upgrade the cloak, so that I can just kind of go back and get the rest that I need later down the road. I wasted 1, I put it on a 440. Now I have a 460 that I need to put one of these ineffable truths on that I have in my bank. And so basically I just wasted 3,300 Nyalothas that I could have done. So if you know that the farthest you're gonna get is like doing mythic 15s and some heroic gear, right, or some heroic raid gear, then 470 or so, you know, 470, 460s, maybe that's as far as you're gonna get. It's perfectly fine to put corrupted gear or corrupted items on those gear. But if you've got a 440 belt and you know you're going to be getting 460, 470 gear, don't use your item on, don't use the corruption item on the belt. So another big pitfall. I know I started out, I was like, okay, this is another currency, it'll just come to me easily. No, it doesn't. It's not horrible, but it's not easy either, especially while you're trying to catch up. So just make sure you kind of plan that a little bit. And that's the whole system. It's a bit of a long video, but there's a lot to go over, and I just wanted to make sure you guys have all the information with that, guys, take it easy. Peace, love, and Warcraft.